Hi there and welcome to Meet the Leaders. I'm David Smith, and as you notice in the surroundings, we're in Hartford at the State Capitol building for the last few hours of this year's session, shortened as it might be. Pleased to have with us Representative Ben McGorty of the 122nd District, representing Stratford and Shelton. Ben, this has been quite a time, and it ain't over yet.
No, not by far.
No.
A couple more hours left, about 36. We still don't have a budget. That's the main thing we're focused on, trying to get a budget out before the end of session so we don't have to come back.
Got a bunch of people who, on both sides, all sides as a matter of fact, it's not even both sides these days, it's three-sided, trying to put something together that makes sense for everybody involved, and incidentally, the citizenry.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, all three budgets, there's cuts in it. You know, there's no way of getting around that. We have to cut, we need to tighten our belt. And we just got to come to a consensus and everybody agree on one budget, and let's get it done before the end of session tomorrow.
Now, there's some people who are saying that the end of session comes at midnight tomorrow. However, that doesn't necessarily mean the end of the road here.
No, definitely not. And if it doesn't, the budget doesn't come out by tomorrow night, we come back Thursday, that's an additional expense to the taxpayers. The deficit just keeps growing and growing, and we need to stop it. We need to get a budget everybody agrees upon, and hopefully we won't have to go back every couple months and fix it.
Well, that looks to be at least a distinct possibility, no question about that. As you reflect back, if we can get to some positive things that occurred during this session?
There's been some good stuff. There's some bad bills that come out, but we're working on a lot of things.
And your constituents, what did you find?
Well, pretty much Shelton, Trumbull, and Stratford that I have, we're pretty good. Everything's good. The educational cuts, that's hurting our town. The budget for the education is always top priority for the towns, and when they start losing state funding, it hurts. We have pay to play and stuff like that. School programs get cut, and nobody wants to see that. So we got to try and put those cuts back into the budget and hopefully make the schools okay, because nobody wants to pay any more taxes. Well,
and of course the municipalities are on your case, of course, to have you come up with something that's going to work for them so that they don't have to completely destroy their budget again and rework it all.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because these cuts now coming out from the governor and the Democrats come just at the time when the municipalities are doing their budgets, and they're not planning for the cuts. They're planning to get that state funding and work with the budget that they have, and now we're cutting it as they're trying to work their budgets. It's difficult for them, and we want to make sure that the Republicans restore that funding back into their towns and everybody comes out of this peacefully.
Well, now we've already had a lot of job cuts on a statewide level, and in many instances the fiscal cuts have been on the backs of those who can least afford to deal with that sort of thing, the DCF and the DSS, and it goes like that.
Yeah, it's tough with GE leaving Fairfield, and it affects not only the employees, the mom and pop shops that are around there, all the nonprofits in the Fairfield, New Haven area where these employees worked and donated, their dollars to every year. That's not going to be here anymore. So we're going to feel a lot of pain from GE going, and hopefully that's the only company that leaves our state, because we can't take any more losses.
And while GE is, of course, in Fairfield, a lot of your folks in your particular neck of the woods are going to be feeling that, and probably have already, and some may have left already.
Yeah, a lot of homes are going up for sale from a lot of the employees that are leaving, going to Boston.
And of course that brings the housing price down for everybody else in value,
because
right?
now they have to sell. They have to sell to go buy their new home. And that's not good. That's not good for the housing.
What do you tell constituents who give you a call and say, hey Ben, what the heck is going on there, and how are we going to end up with?
It's not an easy answer. It's not, because it changes every day. The budgets keep coming out, and they're good, they're bad, and they're terrible. So we don't even know what's going to be coming out either tonight or tomorrow, what the budget looks like. And here we are going to vote on something that we really haven't had a chance to look at. It's been a long session since February. Here we are in the final 36 hours, and we still don't have a budget to look at. That's not the way to run the state.
No,
it's not good.
And yet it is a way that it occurred last year pretty much very similarly, and you were held in place until 7:30 or later in the morning before a vote could come forth.
Yeah.
Do you see that as being a possibility going forward?
Hopefully they don't do that again. That wasn't good. It wasn't fair to us. It wasn't. We can get that budget out on the floor, discuss it now, and then put it behind us, and we move towards the other bills that are important as well, instead of waiting till the middle of the night and bringing stuff out when everybody's tired and they want to go home and get some sleep.
I don't know whether there's any good news to come out of this thing, except that all sides seem to be adopting all sides remedies now. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's willing, seemingly, to hear at least a portion of what
Yeah.
each of the three sides or so
Yeah.
is talking about.
There is a little bit of truth to that, but it's difficult because somebody's getting cut. Some department, some group, some function is getting cut, and then that hurts, and then they come after us. You know, why are you taking from my department? Why are you taking from my commission and all that? And that's what hurts, but there's got to be cuts. They got to come from somewhere.
And when you talk about cuts, as we suggested, with municipalities being cut,
Yeah.
that means there could be very distinct cuts on the
Yeah.
municipal side
Yeah.
of things.
But that doesn't help because then the towns raise their taxes up, and now people are just paying more taxes, and then they're leaving the state. They're moving down south where the taxes are a lot less.
Well, we hope it is not as grievous as it was last year, but
Yeah.
we'll watch with great interest, and I
Yeah.
know you will be involved in the mix of things. Ben, thanks so much for being with us. Representative Ben McGorty, our guest on this edition of Meet the Leaders. We are at the state capitol, waning hours, and yet it's kind of like last year.
Yeah.
Still, no budget agreed upon. That's it for this one. For Meet the Leaders, I'm David Smith.